everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 465. Today we're going to talk about One Night Revolution. At one point this was known as One Night Resistance, and it sounds exactly and plays pretty close to that, where it's sort of One Night Ultimate Werewolf mashed up with kind of the Resistance universe. So you're going to be dealing out roles, and you're also going to be dealing out like special abilities, and then players are going to have kind of like a night phase in Ultimate Werewolf where everybody closes their eyes, different roles will take their actions and swap cards around and all that kind of stuff, and then everybody will open their eyes, and then you'll have a little bit of a discussion period, make accusations, lie, and all that kind of stuff too. And then at some point you're going to declare and everybody's going to point, and whoever has the most fingers pointed at them is going to be killed. And if you are part of the resistance, then you want to have an informant killed, and if you're one of the informants, sort of like a spy for the Empire, then you want to have everybody point at one of the resistance members. So let's take a look at how it works, and then I'll tell you what I think of it. Okay, here's everything you get in One Night Revolution. And if you played One Night Ultimate Werewolf, then this should be familiar to you. You're going to deal out a certain number of these role cards. So you're going to be Rebel or Informant there. So based on the number of players, there'll be a certain number of these out, and you'll actually have 3 extras, and then these will be here in the middle. And you might be swapping these ID cards around. So let's say we got maybe 4 players in here randomly, and then you're going to decide what specialists you're going to have in the game. And these are the different special abilities, and these are going to change up based on what faction you belong to. So if you're the signaler here and you look at your ID card, you're going to say, oh, I'm an informant, so when it becomes my turn, I'm actually going to do this action instead of this action. And the game also comes with these cool little double-sided reminders of what the roles actually are. So once you decide what you want to put in the game, and the rulebook comes with, of course, a nice little setup here. So if you're playing with 6 players, then you're going to have these roles if you want. You can mix it up, but you definitely need to stick to the number of rebels versus informants based on player count. But this you can play around with. But there's reminders there. You're going to pick somebody to be sort of the start player, the mission leader. They'll get this token. And what's going to happen during this kind of night phase, everybody will have their face down specialist and their face down ID. Starting with the mission specialist there, they're going to do their action. So let's say we look at this guy here, I'm an informant, and then I'm going to say tap an informant on your immediate left or right. And that's because I forgot the most basic thing is everybody's going to close their eyes, and then the informants are going to look at each other. I just take that for granted. I shouldn't do that. But yeah, before everybody does any actions, everybody closes their eyes, then the informants will look at each other, and everybody knows who's that. So good thing I read this card because I almost forgot. Tap an informant on your immediate left or right. Well, what if there's an informant not to me or left or right and they're across the table? Well, then you don't tap anybody on the shoulder. However, if you were the resistance, then you tap a player on your immediate left or right. So you might be tapping an informant, you don't know that. So it's kind of a random guess there. So everybody goes and does their actions. This one here, the investigator, look at another player's ID. This is the thief here. If you're a resistance, switch your ID with another player's ID, view your new ID, and this is just view your ID. And so right away we can see now it's going to be different based on the order of things that happen. Now the observer is kind of a bummer because it's just no specialist action, but let's say you are the reassigner and you go before the thief. Well, this is switch 2 other players' IDs, or switch a rebel player's ID with an HQ informant ID there. So if you actually open your eyes and there's no other informants, and you get to look at one of these. But if this happens before or after the thief, before or after the reassigner, it's going to be play out a little bit differently. And that's kind of like the little hook of the game compared to One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which its hook is just the billions of role combinations that you can have. This has a much smaller set of role combinations, but it's all player order determined. So after I take my action, I'll say task complete. The next player will do their action, whatever it is, and then we go around the table and everybody takes their actions and everybody reveals, and then we have a nice little discussion there. So the trick of this one is the order and the seating order of how these are randomly dealt out there. And then at that point, we have a discussion. You can time it if you want, and then you can say 3, 2, 1. Everybody points at each other. Whoever has the most fingers pointed at them will be dead. So if you kill an informant, then the resistance wins, and then vice versa. If you kill a rebel, then the informants win, and the rebels lose. Okay, so that is One Night Revolution. What I think of it? Well, if you watched my videos at all, you'll maybe know that One Night Ultimate Werewolf, I think, is my number 3 favorite game of all time out of my top 100. Really love that game. My group and I played it like at least every week that I was there, and I know they were playing it when I wasn't there, playing a lot, playing it, a couple hours on end, some nights, just back to back to back, playing with different roles. This feels pretty much the same. Now, it doesn't have the large amount of roles that you can do. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 specialists. The specialists may or may not change based on the ID cards, so maybe a few more than that. But like I said in the little walkthrough there, the turn order will kind of change that up a little bit. I don't want to oversell that though, because it doesn't change it up like too much. Now, what I would recommend this for, and I'm actually going to keep this just because to me it's like a One Night Ultimate Werewolf variant. Now, like I said, I really like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, so I'm like, hey, cool, it's another way to play that game. Well, I mean, the more the better. That's how I look at it. I still haven't got around to checking out One Night Ultimate Vampire, but I will do that later. But to me, they're all just kind of these different variants on that same kind of cool formula. A nice, like, little 5-minute kind of manipulation, deduction kind of thing happening, a little 5-10 minute discussion, and then you vote, and then you have fun and call each other names and lie and all that fun stuff. That's a lot of fun to me. I would recommend this to maybe not somebody that has never played One Night Ultimate Werewolf. This is cool because you don't need the app. It's got enough variability in there for somebody, for example, that has never played the game. I would say for at least 20 to 30, 40 plays of the game, at least. If you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then it's not going to be worth anything. But if you do like this and you get into it, then you're going to get your money out of this for sure. And it's nice. You don't need the app. You can just lay it down. The rules are super simple. And, like I said, the turn order and everything kind of varies it up. And the rules are not super complex. It's like, you move a couple things around, maybe look at yours, the whole tap on the shoulder thing. But it's a little bit easier to get into and play and not as intimidating with like so many rolls out of the gate. But I would recommend One Night Ultimate Werewolf, especially with the Daybreak expansion. To me, that's like perfection. Like I said, I haven't messed around with the vampire stuff, but that's much better. If you're going to jump right in, you like the kind of game, I would get that. But if this is a nice like gateway game into that, where, I mean, One Night Ultimate Werewolf is not complex, but it can be intimidating. Just a lot of stuff, what do I do on my turn and all that. This is just much easier. You break it out and go for it. So I would recommend this game. And like, I'm a sort of a fanatic or something, I would guess. And I'm just going to keep it because it's just like, hey, we played One Night Ultimate Werewolf a whole bunch. Let's try this for a few weeks or something. So anyway, take a look at it. Thanks.